So we want to represent the function 3x over the quantity 8 plus x as a power series. First thing we're going to do is think about what we know. We know a basic power series, and I'm going to use u instead of x because we've got x over here. We know that that is 1 plus u squared and so forth. And we know as long as we're on the interval from -1 to 1, that will converge to 1 over 1 minus u. So my goal is to be able to express this function to utilize what I know over here. So I want to get it in the form of 1 over 1 minus u. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put the 3x, I'm going to separate it, and I'll put this 1 over. Then I want a 1 and I have an 8. So I'm going to factor an 8 out, and then that will leave a 1. And I'm going to express this as minus a minus because I want the negative here so I can get this to match. And if I factored an 8 out here, this would be x over 8. Now I have the function in the form to utilize what I know here. So I could express this as a power series. It has 3x over 8, and then this power series, n going from 0 to infinity, and my u is negative x over 8. So that's going to be negative x over 8 to the n. Now there's a couple of ways to sort of juggle this around, maybe simplify it a little bit to express it slightly differently, but we can use it in this form and answer the question, which we've got the power series, and basically for this one we want to write down what the coefficients were and enter those and find the radius of convergence. Well, already I can see as we've worked these that if I were to do the ratio test and have this, I would need to multiply by 8 as I'm solving this, and if you're not sure about that, go ahead and apply the ratio test to this and you'll see what I mean. Bottom line, we can see our radius of convergence is going to be 8. Now, let's go ahead and write out a few of the terms then. So I'm just going to leave it in this form. So I've got 3x over 8 multiplying, if I put in 0, we've got anything to the 0 is 1. And then putting in a 1, I'd have negative x over 8. Putting in a 2, I'd have plus x squared over 64. Putting in a 3, I would have negative x cubed over, I'm just going to write it as 8 cubed, and putting in a 4, I'd have positive x to the 4th over 8 to the 4th. So now we can figure out our coefficients. This will be distributed through, and so my first term, which when we have a coefficient of C naught, means the term where it's x to the 0, and there isn't going to be one of those, so that's 0. My next coefficient will be the coefficient on the x term, and if this were distributed through, that term would be 3x over 8, so my coefficient is 3 over 8. As I distribute this next one through, I have negative 3 x squared over 8 times 8. So my next coefficient would be negative 3 over 64, and so forth. You can see as I'd continue through multiplying the 3x over 8 through and then listing the coefficients, I would have as many as I needed.